So what do those songs have in common, besides being absolute bangers, besides being the soundtrack to me crying in my bedroom? I'll give you another hint. If you haven't guessed it, they were all produced or written by Benny Blanco. Benny has a hand in some of the biggest songs of the last decade. He's won the BMI Songwriter of the Year award not once but 3 times. He's worked with folks like Kanye West, Halsey, Britney Spears, Justin Bieber. I mean, I could go on, but I think you get the point. And now Benny's releasing his own music. He has a new record called Friends Keep Secrets Too, and joining me to talk about it is Benny Blanco himself. How are you?
Good. That makes me so embarrassed when people play my music. It's so funny. I was like squirming, but at the same time I was listening, I was like, oh, this song's cool. This one's cool too. Like it's been so long since I've heard some of those songs.
I was a bit embarrassed. Did you notice I didn't look up?
I can't even see you. It just says Q.
Oh, swipe over.
Oh,
hey.
Now I can. Hey, man.
How's it going?
Wow, it's a whole new you.
I've had to learn. I know it's very disappointing, and I wouldn't blame you if you swipe back over. But I have had to learn how to use Zoom of all capacity during this thing.
Beautiful. I'm so stoked. Now I see you. You're gorgeous. It's oh my God.
I know you're saying I didn't know I was getting interviewed by out of shape Colin Hanks, but I'm really excited about it. This is great.
No.
I didn't know whether to. I didn't look up at you because I never know what like an artist's relationship is or a writer's relationship is with songs that got really big. You know.
Yeah, just don't look at me ever.
I got that note from your publicist on the way in, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Right. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. It's, I just get embarrassed. I'm like, when it's my birthday and they sing me happy birthday, there's nothing worse in the world. Like, I want to go home instantly the second they sing happy birthday.
Yeah, I can 100% relate to what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It is a trip though. Listening to those songs, it's like, oh my God, this is like my life. Like, these are like, oh, I remember what I was doing when I wrote that one. Oh, I remember where I was when I wrote that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I find it funny that you're a little bashful about it, because I was reading the story about you that I think like you were 10 years old and you told your mom like, I'm going to be the greatest musician of all time.
I probably said something like that. Yeah, I was like, yeah, she was like, oh, well, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to be the big, I think at that time I wanted to be an artist. I was like, I'm going to be the biggest artist of all time. Like, and she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, good boy. Like, I mean, what's she supposed to say? Even when I started like making it, she was like, okay, but like, what's the backup plan? Like, even I was like, Mom, but I have like big song, like, and then your parents, they always pick some like arbitrary thing to be proud of you about. Like, I remember like one time I was like in the New Yorker, like a long time ago. And she was like, oh my God, my son made it.
The New Yorker, an article in the New Yorker was more making it than having like a #1 hit single song.
So my mother, yeah.
Is your mom still with us?
She is still with us.
She must be proud of you now.
Yeah, she's super stoked. I think she's just like proud of like, she's more proud of me, I think, as like a guy, like just being like, oh my God, like, I can't believe, like, she thinks this stuff's awesome, but it's like, oh my God, my son's an adult now. And like, we get to talk about adult things. We have a great relationship, and she's just like, she's like my #1 supporter. Yeah.
I suppose you can't blame her for being, like, nervous or skeptical, because from what I understand, like growing up in Virginia, there wasn't there was an easy path in front of you to the success that you have,
No, it's insane. And we didn't have there was no Instagram or there wasn't even YouTube until I was a senior in high school. Like, it was it's a different world.
So when it started to happen, like when you started to get good co-writes, when you started to get production, work, when things started to work out, was it as surprising to you, or was there a part of you that was like, yeah, I kind of figured this could happen?
I think it was all happening so fast, and I was so young that I was just like, I caught up later. Like I'd say the first few years, probably until 2011, I'd say probably 06, 07, 08, 09, 10. Like, honestly, like, I think I probably like caught up to it like 5-6 years into it. I was like, oh my God, okay, whoa, this is crazy. Like, I think I was just like going. I was like just moving, making song. Like, I don't think I took the second to realize it. And then like after that, I really started trying to take time to like think about stuff like that and just be like, be like any day, like any of this could happen. Like, I definitely always had like pinch yourself moments my whole life though. Like, but they just came gradually. So it was like, oh, you're in a real studio. Oh, you made a real song. Oh, you have a gold single. Oh, you have a platinum single. Oh, you have a #1. It was like, I like, even right now, like every day, like when you were playing that stuff, I was like, damn, I can't believe this is my life. I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is my work. I'm like talking to a guy on the radio about like things I do for fun. Like, it's like I make songs for fun, and it just so happens that it's my job.
Yeah, and it just so happens that they become very meaningful to the people who hear them.
Yeah, and I don't even think about that when I'm making it.
No, I think if you did, you'd go crazy.
Yeah, I don't really think about that. At the end, I'll be like, oh, I think like some people will like this. Like I'm like, I think a few people will like it, like besides me.
What do you think you had in your early when you kind of first started out that brought sort of really established folks to your door wanting to work with you?
Just putting in the work, man. I did everything. I waited outside of studios. I sat there. I worked with like, it's like, oh, this is like, Jay-Z's brother's uncle's nephew's cousin. You guys could make something great, and I just like, just worked. And, I used to cold call record labels and pretend I was a lawyer to try to get to the next person to talk to. And just like, I would, drive to New York with my friends and, sleep in the McDonald's, the 24-hour McDonald's, and try to get meetings. And, I think it was just sheer will. I'm not even that talented. I think it was just like I willed it all to happen.
Why were you so willed? Like, why were you so hungry?
I don't know. Because there's nothing to do in Virginia.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do in Virginia. And like, I've always been one of those people where if I really, really want something, I'm just going to like work so hard until I get it or fail trying. I'm not afraid of failure.
I also think that there's something deeper at play here, like when you say, I'm not even that good at music. I've heard you say that before when I was kind of getting ready for the interview. And one thing I really loved is that you said, one of the things I think I am good at is making artists comfortable when they come in, the kind of comfort that you need to have in order to write a song together. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, like I'm serious. When I say people are like, oh, stop being bashful, I'm really not that talented. Like, I can't play any instrument very well. I can't sing very well. Like, I can't write very well. Like, but I can like kind of do it all. And like, if I have my time, I know how to make a song sound good, and I know the parts that go into it. And it's just like, I think more so than anything, I understand people. And I understand, like, when you get in a room with someone, it's like, okay, like, I'm not going to work with someone that's not my friend, that I haven't, like, talked to and hung out with first. Like, some people, I hang out with them, years before ever making music. And then finally we're like, all right, let's try something. And get in. And sometimes we make no music. Sometimes we just hang out and talk about life and talk about what's going on in the world. And sometimes, I tell dick and fart jokes and we watch comedians. And then sometimes we write a song that sucks. And then sometimes at the very end of the session, when there's like 15 minutes left, we write a great song and we're like, oh, I guess that one's okay. It's just like, I don't put any pressure on it. And it's like, I want to work hard and I want to do all this stuff, but it's just going to come when it comes. I wish I had like a magic, crystal ball where it was like, hey, Benny, June 24th, And I was like, what? And they're like, June 24th. That's like the day you're going to like do something this year that's worthwhile. Everything else is going to be a wash, you know, because it's like in music, people don't think about that. Like most of the things we do every day do not come out. Like I'd say 95% of my work does not see the light of day.
So how do you decide what does?
Gut.
Yeah. Did you learn that having to like relax with people, chill with people, watch TV with people, make dick and fart jokes with people has to happen before you write a song together? Did you learn that from like finding yourself in situations where it was all business right away?
Well, I early on like would work with people where it was like all business, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. And then we wouldn't make good music. And then I was like, well, what makes me feel comfortable? And I was like, being around my friends. And I was like, you know, just laughing and chilling. And I was like, okay, so like why would I not be comfortable in the studio? Why don't I like find people that I can work with consistently that are just like my friends? Why can't I, you know, have a lot in common with these people? Why can't I like not be afraid to just not do anything and just like make a song and like, or like hang out and like not feel bad at the end of the day that we didn't come up with anything.
When did you decide to make the turn then to be the artist rather than the producer?
About 3-4 years ago, I was on tour with Ed Sheeran, and we had just watched this thing called The Defiant Ones. And I remember Ed like stood up, and we were backstage at a stadium, and he was like, what are we doing with our lives? He was like, we need to be doing more. And then like a guy came in and was like, hey, Ed, you're on right now. And he's like, okay. And he like left, and he played like a sold out stadium. And I was sitting backstage, and I was like, what am I doing with my life?
Because it was very clear that he was doing something important if there were like that many people came to see it, right?
Yeah, I was like, what am I doing with my life? And I was just sitting there, and I was just like, okay. Well, I just watched the Defiant Ones, and I was like, I had a label at the time, and I had artists signed to me, and I was like, you know, it's always so difficult, and all this stuff's so difficult, and I think I have like good songs, and I was like, what happens if I just like put them out myself and become the artist like Dr. Dre did? And I was like, I don't even have to like sing. I don't think like there's, you know, people have done stuff like that. And then I remember, you know, I wrote a song with Ed the next day. We wrote like the very early demos of Eastside. And I remember I went home, I heard it, and I was like, hey man, I was like, I want to use this song. Like, I think I want to like put out music myself. And I was like so nervous as to what he was going to say. And he was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, man. I can't believe you haven't done it sooner. And I was like, wait, what? I was like kind of hoping he was going to tell me no. And then like I called up a few of my friends, like, and I was like, hey man, like I want to do this song. Like I want you to sing it with me. And like, and then everyone was kind of just like, yeah. And I was like, wait, what? And then like I put out Eastside, and I thought like eventually I thought I'd have like a big song. Like I didn't think it was going to happen right away. And then like Eastside took off, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, what? So then I was like, I guess I'll make an album. And then like I did more songs, and then I had more songs that were big. And then it kind of got to the point where I was just like, oh, well, maybe I don't even like need to work with other people anymore, and I can like just make my own music. So then I kind of started doing that, and that's where I kind of am now.
I want to play Eastside for people who maybe need to be reminded of it. Take a listen to this.
He used to meet me on the east side, in the city where the sun don't set. And every day, you know where we ride through the back streets in a blue Corvette. And baby, you know I just wanna leave tonight. We can go anywhere we want, drive down to the coast, jump in the sea. Just take my hand and come with me, singing. We can do anything.
So what's going through your mind right now as you hear that?
I was listening, and I had never heard it from that point starting. And I was like, wait, is this the chorus? And I was like, oh no, the chorus is later. And then I was like, I think I was thinking, I was like, oh man, this song's pretty cool. Like,
when did you know that you said to me like, yeah, I put out that song and it took off way faster than I ever could have imagined. When did you know that it took off?
when it was like flying up the charts, and it was like, and I was like, oh wow. And then it was like I like checked Spotify one day and it was in like the top 50, and I was like, oh my God, this is already bigger than what I thought. And then just like kept going up, and then it just like kept selling copies, and it's like I kept getting plaques from like label executives being like, hey man, thanks from Germany, like, or like, hey, thanks from this country. And I was like, holy shit, this song's like, and then like when I would travel, like it was just playing everywhere. And I was like, holy shit. Like, you know, I've had a lot of songs do that. Like, you know, so many songs I can't even count. But like when it's like your own thing, it's like a different feeling.
Well, what's the best part of it? What's the best part of releasing a song as an artist versus a producer?
Just the control, just to know that you did everything you could. You put out the video you wanted to, you put out the song when you wanted to, you put the right promotion behind it, you did all the interviews, you talked to all the people, you do all the, and just like, if it fails, it's because of you. Like, and I'm fine with it being because of me. I hate when I watch a song that I think's really good, and then it doesn't get like the right push, or like it doesn't make it to people's ears the way that I want it to, you know?
What's the worst part of it? Of being an artist versus a producer?
Fame.
I was gonna say to you that when you work with people like the people you've worked with, be it Ed, I mean, Ed seems to have a pretty good head and shoulders about a lot of this stuff, but you know, like when you work with someone like Justin Bieber, you look at these people, like you meet people who had their lives, I don't want to say defined by, but definitely overcome by fame. And there was a part of me that was surprised that you'd be like, oh, yeah, I'd like to have some of that too, you know?
No, I just liked the other side of it so much. And it's like Ed hates the fame part too, but he loves the other side so much that he deals with it. And it's like, I think I was a little naive to how famous I might have gotten. Like I was like, oh no, people won't even know me. I'm not even the guy like on the song. I'm not even singing it. And yeah, it's not my favorite part. I'm not that type of person. Like I like, you know, I have like a small circle. I have like my friends, and I do like, I'm not like, yeah, it's like, and I nothing against the fans at all. I love all my fans of all my music, and everyone is so fucking nice to me. Like my fans are like, couldn't be sweeter people. Like everyone, like I've never had someone be a dick to me ever. Like I know people have like horror stories. All of mine are so nice, so amazing. But like, you know, sometimes it's like, man, if I'm really tired and like my head kind of hurts and I just want to go get like a juice or something, and then I gotta like stop a bunch of time. And like, you know, sometimes it's like, you're not in the greatest mood you've ever been in, but I don't want to like inflict that on somebody else. So I'm like, hey man, how you doing? Like, you know, sometimes when I don't necessarily feel great and I'm already like uncomfortable to begin with in life, like I already don't even want to see my friends in the street. Like sometimes when I see one of my friends, I'm like, oh, I hope they don't notice me. I don't want to talk to them right now. It was
the good part of the pandemic.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just not ready for it. I'm not ready to talk to them yet.
Well, you know, that's funny because I want to play Lonely from the record. Take a listen.
Perfect.
What if you had it all, but nobody to call? Maybe then you'd know me. 'Cause I've had everything, but no one's listening, and that's just f***ing lonely.
I'm Tom Parry, listening to Q. Benny Blanco is with us. You're hearing his song Lonely with Justin Bieber. I mean, you know why I was wondering why you wanted to be, like, I understand now, like the other side of it's so great that it's worth the fame stuff.
It's so fun. Like it's, I think I was naive a little bit. And then I thought, like, I also thought, like, I always thought with artists, I was like, oh man, like, what are you talking about? A few people come up to you, it's not a big deal. And this, and like, okay, so you have to talk to a few interviewers, like, and it's just like, it's a lot of work. I have so much respect for artists. It's such a, you know, they got to live by all this stuff, and everything they say is put under a microscope and this and that. And it's just like, I definitely have so much more respect than I ever did. And it helps me work with artists better because I can connect so much more now that I go through the same things.
How did that song happen?
Man, you know, me and Justin have been working since 2009, I think. So a very long time. And, you know, I think he just trusts me, and he wanted songs for his new album. And I was in there one day and we had talked about all this type of stuff. And I was sitting there and I was just like, dude, we got to write a song from this point of view. Like people don't talk about this. Artists don't, you know, and I remember once we did it and like Justin recorded it, it was like ready to go. And he was just like, he was so nervous. He was like, do I put this song out? Like, do people even want to hear this from me? Like, it's like, you know, I've been this thing to them for so long and this and that. And I think it was like, he was just like, I think he was just trying to figure it all out and work it all out in his head. And I'm so glad he did it, because like so many people come up to me and they're just like, dude, like that song, like really helped me through a time. And we wrote that song before the pandemic.
Right.
Like it didn't have to do with the pandemic, but it just happened to like strike a chord with so many people during the pandemic.
Well, I think it lends itself to what I think your gift is, or at least one of your gifts are, which is that you give a reality to something that seems fantastic. And I don't just mean in Lonely, but you know where I think about it a lot is in Love Yourself. And just I know that's you and Ed and Justin, but yeah. There's a line that's, I got so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on. And I had never heard anyone say that ultimately that what these guys are doing is just their job. What these people are doing is their job. And you can get caught up in it and not see what's going on. I guess in the same way that you can get caught up in your insurance job and not see what's going on.
Yeah, everything. At the end of the day, it's a job. We just happen to love it so much. And some people love working at their insurance job, you know, and it's just like, you know, life's weird. And it's just like, if I can tie up an emotion in a bow and just serve it to you in a way that you can really understand that like hasn't been done, because it's very hard. Everyone said everything, but it's hard to sometimes just say something really simply, you know, to just be like, you know, when me and Ed started that song, he was just like, I was like, how are you doing? Like, what have you been going through? And he's like, I don't want to write a song about that. And I was like, so let's write a song about not wanting to write a song about it. So the first line's, I don't want to write a song.
You know what it reminded me of is that, have you seen that the Britney Spears documentary?
I haven't seen it.
It's really interesting because it showed me that like it can get away from you. Like maybe I shouldn't be accepting myself here right now, but I don't know if I'm fully a part of it. But like, there's a world where you get really, really famous and then you cease to become human anymore. You know what I mean? You cease to become in any way a person anymore, and you're a fair game for every single person, and you're able to be made fun of. As you say in the Lonely song, your darkest moments are allowed to be mocked, even when you're sick, even when you're a child. And I think what you're able to do, Benny, is give us a path to empathy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, you know, those people are still human. It's just they become non-human to everyone else, and they become a joke or a talking point or can you believe that this person did that? Can you believe? And it's just like, yeah, I can. Can you believe that one time you said something stupid? Can you believe that like one time you weren't feeling great? One time, like, it's just like, man, it's just like people are just human and they do human things.
So it makes sense why you've chosen like, hey, this is how I'm going to do this. If I'm going to do this thing, this is how I'm going to fucking do it.
Yeah. And I try to make like songs that have a certain feeling, like when I'm making them.
Yeah. I mean, I guess all I wanted to say was that like, I love your fun songs that have made me dance and enjoy myself. But like, I really love the songs that make me feel deeply about someone I haven't thought about in that way before.
Yeah. I mean, that's like what I'm trying with Eastside, with all these songs. It's like when I make these songs, it's like for myself, I have like a certain point of view. It's a little bit different.
I want to play one more song.
Okay.
There's still gossip, there's still drama, there's still problems. There's a right and there's a wrong. There's still people that I think won't love me till I'm gone. Low-key miss the days walking around in my school hall. But now I got a bigger job. The world screaming my songs as we go on. We remember all the times we spent together.
That is Benny Blanco and Juice WRLD with Graduation. What was Juice WRLD like as a person?
Dude, first of all, probably the most talented person I've ever been in a room with.
Really?
Like, it was insane. He would, the first time I met him, we made 8 songs the first day. Like, he just would hear it. You would play 2 seconds of the beat. He'd be like, all right, let me go in. And he would make a full song start to finish in 3 minutes all the way through, then do it again, and then do it one more time and say, just pick the best one. And as a person, he was one of the sweetest kinds. I've never seen him be mean. I've never seen him be rude. You know, I really care about like how someone treats like people at like a restaurant or treats people that work at a studio. The nice, thank you, please. Oh man, what's your day like? Like, he would just go like randomly there would be like a studio assistant and he'd have like a 30-minute conversation with them. And like, he was just the salt of the earth. And he was such a good guy and so well-intentioned and so talented. And it's like, you know, we lost him so young. It's crazy. It's insane. And he did so much in such a short period of time.
Losing someone so young can have such a profound impact on your own life. Like, what kind of impact did it have on you?
Man, it was, it's hard, man. It's tough. It's really tough. He was actually my friend. Like, it's not like not like we just did songs. Like, we laughed together. We talked about, you know, our problems, our anxieties. I've been to his house. I mean, like, it's not just like, hey man, we're in the studio. Like, it's like, you know, I miss the guy and I miss making music with the guy. Like, it's like because it's like making a great song, like, and sharing that with another person is a feeling that like I can't even explain to another person. It's like, you know, the feeling of when you fall in love, you get those butterflies, you get the feeling in your chest, like the first time you kiss a girl or something or a guy. And it's like, you get that feeling every time for like a long time. And like, to share that feeling with someone is such a special moment. And then to become friends with that person and to, you know, especially with, you know, with someone like Juice, and it's like where they say so much in their songs and things they hold such meaning. And especially now that he's gone, you know, you listen back to everything you ever did and you say like, oh, did this mean that? Or did this mean this? And you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm so sorry, man.
No, it's okay. I'm glad that the world got to see and hear a part of the guy that I got to see and hear. Yeah,
and when they're gone, their music, I mean, the songs you make continue on. There's something beautiful in that. Yeah, and he was just a great dude, man. He was like, it's just like, yeah, he's just like a really, really good guy. It's been really great to talk to you, and I really love talking to you about music and talking to you about your songs. I have realized while I was talking to you that I think for a Canadian show, I think I've talked to a lot of people alongside Justin Bieber, but never Justin himself. I met his mom one time at a bookstore, like the Barnes and Noble of Canada chapters. I once met his mom at a bookstore. I didn't know it was his mom, and then we chatted, and she was very nice. But I mean, I've talked to you, I've talked to Ed, I've talked to Julia Michaels, like a lot of people in that sort of, you know, who have worked with him. But I never talked to the guy himself. What's tell me something about what it's like to work with him.
Justin's one of those people, no matter, he's just like too good at everything. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, you're like the best singer in the world. And then I was like, he's like, hey man, you want to play ping pong? And then he's like, Olympic level. Then he's like, hey, he's like, I just started like playing like basketball. You want to play basketball? And he's like the best basketball player. He's just like one of those guys who's just like naturally like the best at every single thing. And
it's annoying.
Working with him, great, man. He's like, he makes everything perfect instantly. It's no struggle. It's just like right away.
It's been great to talk to you, man. Like, I love the way that you've carved out what you want your life and career and fame to look like. And it's been nice to talk to you.
Look forward to talking to you again.
Benny Blanco was my guest. Friends Keep Secrets 2 is out everywhere now.